Hello there. Haven't made a video for a while. I have arisen during the middle of the night after probably about a 7 hour sleep, so, why not make a video? Um, I want to talk about the vaccine passport and how a great number of people are upset about that because they're afraid it might risk their ability to travel in the future. A lot of people think that COVID will pass and, things will normalize. And they don't like the idea of restricted movement. And, there are various things that people don't like. And they've actually kind of combined them all because they dislike something so much that they have taken all the things that go with that side, and that has become part of their opinion on the subject. Like a lot of anti-vaxxers are a lot of anti-maskers, and that would be anti-vaccine passport, and this, that, and the other. And that's actually playing right into the hands of the propaganda apparatus. It's a very simplistic way of thinking. I mean, obviously, if anyone's been watching anything on the media, they know there's one line of thinking and another line of thinking. And you could say it's the left and the right, but, that's rubbish. The left and the right, the definition of them is nowhere near what it used to be. So they're simply two different ideological beliefs, and they're both hardcore in their sense that to agree with every one of their little aspects, you have to be a raving lunatic. There's obviously some sides that have better points than the other side, or opinions that or ideological beliefs that are more suited to your current position. And I don't like the anti-mask protests because I think they're a bunch of idiots. People are disgusting. I've already told you that. And masks are essential, and general cleanliness. And just be mindful of the gross things that people do and why they shouldn't do them. Okay. Put that aside. Let's get back to the vaccine passport. People are all wound up about it, and it makes no logical sense. You've always needed a passport to go into another country. They've had the ability to turn you down at any time. I don't understand why it can't be incorporated into that. And I don't mean putting a chip in your passport or anything like that. It goes through a system when you go through any border in the world. It's time to stop thinking like this is the 60s. It's not the 60s. It's 2020. 2021, the 20s. So I think a vaccine passport is redundant, to be completely honest. And it falsifies an image of restriction that is already there, but is distorting it so that people think it's for another reason. I had my 2 vaccinations. I'm not keen on getting any more. They might start saying, you're required to have your booster every whatever. And it's like, if this vaccine doesn't work, then it doesn't work. It's as simple as that. But another problem, on the other flip side, is that they say, I think it was 70% of people are fully vaccinated. That's also part of the problem as well, is that there are too many outspoken idiots declaring how they won't get vaccinated. They don't wear masks when every opportunity. And that fuels the propaganda needed for measures to be taken where it becomes mandatory for everyone. So every time you see a chump who, gets 15 minutes worth of, hey, I'm not wearing a mask and you can't stop me, and I'm in a place where I'm supposed to be wearing one, but I'm not, all those idiots that are laughing like that, you're making the rulings against you not being able to wear that worse. They're not enforcing masks. They say they're not, but creeping along, they are. And I'll use this as a metaphor. What people don't understand about Afghanistan, and I'll make a video about that, is that the Americans were there for 20 years. What do you think they were doing most of the time? Oh, they were kind of shooting the Taliban they really didn't like, and they put on a program of propaganda, and it really only takes 1 or 2 generations for that propaganda to sink in and to change a people. And how that is a metaphor to this is that this whole mass conversation is there to pacify people into believing that certain things are normal when they were completely alien to someone who is very ignorant of the world, and especially of viruses, diseases, germs, and all that sort of stuff. And future generations will be more receptive to these kind of measures. They'll go, oh, whatever. I mean, you have a smartphone, and everyone was just so amazed by its technology. And this thing can track your whereabouts. It can take pictures, audio of you whenever it wants. It, it can do all these things. But they didn't care because they could watch their favorite TV show on the phone. And it's like, you don't need it. What? You don't know how to read a road map anymore? I mean, it's handy to have in case you need a phone number right then and there, and you can't have phone books in telephone booths anymore. But basic cell phone is good enough. And I think having a basic passport is good enough. That it doesn't matter. Your entire information gets transferred, and they either flag you or they don't. And number one is that it is important that people do get vaccinated, because these viruses out there in the world are real, and they don't necessarily are the result of people, eating bats in China. Although that very well could be a reason. It sounds plausible. But so the media has kind of dropped that subject and refuses to talk about it without saying so. Basically, if you went on to talk about it, you're going to get cut off. And that's because that's not the narrative. They've always wanted to play the most simplistic version of events. And they do this so that people go, well, I don't believe in this because this is, why they're wrong, blah, blah, blah. And they feel content with their answer. I understand there's a great many things about this virus that I don't know about. Great many things about this vaccine passport that I don't know about. But I am saying, from my position, it looks as though it's redundant, unnecessary. Does everyone remember the gun bill? The one that cost, I forget how much. It was either hundreds of millions or $1 billion or something like that in Canada, and it accomplished nothing. It's a big money-making scheme, this vaccine passport, for the bureaucrats and the politicians. It's like, I don't feel like giving you money because of our misery. At all. You don't deserve it, and quite frankly, your tactics are dull and uninteresting, which is probably what you want, but, yeah, you happen to be wrong. I think, the normalization of wearing masks and, even, if it's benign enough, a vaccination at least every couple of years, if not yearly. It's not really that much out of your, schedule if it has to be done once a year. I'm just concerned about these booster shots and that, scientists and doctors are pushing for them because there are too many idiots out there going, oh, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it. And it's like, I don't give a fuck about you. If you don't do it and it impacts me, then fuck you. And then they go, well, I'm fighting for other people's rights not to, wear masks and things like that. No, motherfucker, you're fighting for your right not to wear a mask. You don't give a shit if everyone else has to wear a mask, so long as you don't have to wear one. And that is the truth of most anti-maskers, is they're really only in it for themselves. And they're trying to, I don't know, maybe push legislation or something like that forward by having anti-mask rallies and all this, where they all gather because they have the same idea that, oh, I don't want to wear a mask because it's uncomfortable. And it's like, that's not the real world. Every now and then we're going to have a season where we wear masks, probably. Ideally, we wouldn't, but, it's already been established into the psyche of society that wearing masks is normal. And by charging around at a time where you're supposedly, there's no consequences to you not wearing a mask, or even getting the vaccine, that has to change, because a few idiots running around doing those things, they don't make the majority. Because, as I said, they're a singular individual most of the time, and they're thinking about themselves. Now, are people going to let singular individuals decide how the rest of us are going to live our lives? No. And then they say, well, what about on the flip side? What are these scientists, these doctors and things like that? Why are they telling us we got to wear masks and, we got to do this and we got to do that? Maybe. But they have the keys to the hidden laboratories that have these viruses, so we're kind of at their mercy, so to speak. So the difference is, you're some chump on transit, and they actually have a significant thing. It really reminds you who's the Rottweiler and who's the yappy Chihuahua. And I don't think a lot of people understand that aspect of it. Yeah, these and many other questions. I simply think the vaccine passport is a waste of taxpayers' dollars. There's no reason, and they wouldn't even ask anyway, that information of yours gets put on the internet. And it would do. They would put it on, just as they put your social insurance number, what bank you work, all that stuff. What car you had, what school you went to, where you live, where you have lived, blah, blah, blah. That's all goes up there anyways. There's no reason the vaccine and what amount you've taken of that goes up there as well. So the vaccine passport is just a big money-making scheme by the government. Never underestimate a politician or a bureaucrat's ability to make money out of other people's suffering. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that, and I will talk to you people later. Have a good one.